We'll talk about those also, and we'll also talk about how you can use the art of storytelling and leverage the chat GPTs and the Gemini tools to grow your LinkedIn account. First, introduce yourself. Who is Nischala Agnihotri?
All right.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hello, DevLearn. My name is Nischala Agnihotri, and I recently started a platform called Story Scientist.
Okay.
And it basically is, an engagement where, rather, an arrangement where we run a lot of content experiments
Okay.
and at a beta stage. And once they start working for real world problems, we know that that experiment can be a success.
Mm.
Then we offer them as simple experiments that people can explore. And if they want to get deeper into it, solving much bigger problems, then there are uh, you know courses available for them to learn that and start implementing it. For
Okay.
instance, the latest content experiment that we have is called Think Code OS. And that has emerged um, with the proliferation of Gen AI tools that are coming up out there for writing, right? So Gen AI, whenever people use any free tools like, let's say, Chat GPT or Gemini by Google or Claude AI,
Yeah.
all these tools, they sort of bring back disappointment. No, I
Mm.
thought I could write an article using this. I don't have great
Yeah.
writing skills. But, ye to aise de diya. This is not okay. And many of us say, yaar, maza nahi aaya. Iska, what are these results, right? It's like a kid
Right.
writing. But the problem lies in, what we are asking. Like, for instance, if I say, hey, Karan, uh, what do you do at college? You will give me an answer that you think is right,
Right.
right? You may or may not talk about DevLearn. You may talk about your engineering stream. You may talk about the last lecture. Because my question was so open ended when I said, hey, Karan, what do you do at college, right? And it depends on who is asking you that question. If you have that context, you will tweak your answer. Similarly, these Gen AI writing tools will tweak their responses based on the kind of context that you give them, right? So, Think Code OS is one such experiment that has tested multiple prompts, and it is solving a marketer's problem of understanding the marketing strategy, aligning with the goals, creating an entire content calendar, and also producing that content not in a spammy way, but in a
Okay.
very, very creative and authentic way.
Okay.
So that's the full circle of what I do.
Okay. So can we say that you are stealing the jobs of many content writers?
There you go. So I'm actually not stealing the job of many content writers, but if you look at it, the real pain of a
Mm.
content writer
Yeah.
is there are multiple challenges that they face during the writing process.
Mm-hmm.
One, they're stuck with ideation, right?
Mm.
They also have mental fatigue. There could be
Yeah.
something happening at home, something happening at work, but there's a deadline that you have. And you need a partner who you can brainstorm with, which is not possible uh, in a human to human scenario all the time. It'll be great to actually have a human. But the tools like these become your partners in those scenarios. And also, when you're stuck with structure, you can chat. Like if you are another colleague of mine, and I say, hey, Karan, can you take a quick look at this and give me feedback on what I have
Right.
written? Is the
Mm.
structure right? Do you think I'm meeting the goals of whatever the content marketer has given me? Do you think it is impressive for these particular audience? Do you think my readers will like ABC? Finding the time of another colleague may or may not happen based on the deadline that you have. But you can always reach out to a Gen AI writing tool with all these questions, right? And
Mm.
there's no such thing as mental fatigue for
Right.
a Gen AI
Yeah. Yeah.
writing tool. They are willing to offer, their help anytime. So
Okay.
these are actually the the stories, the personal anecdotes, the things that make Karan or the things that make Nischala will still remain. That can't be stolen away from anybody,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
The wisdom that you can get, these special connections that you make in your brain and bring it out, that is something only you can
Right.
do.
Yeah.
But again, it depends on what that person ends up doing, right?
Hmm.
So it's like this: in a class of 60, the same lecturer comes and teaches all 60 people,
Hmm.
but what they make of it is completely dependent on that student,
Honest student. Right.
right? It's
Yeah.
totally, I mean, it's the same 60 minutes of lecture, same person telling the
Right.
same message to transmitting to all 60 people, but what each one of them make use of it is very different. So look at these tools as a coach,
Hmm.
but how do you go back and ask this coach more questions? Do you ask them to, give support on different angles? That depends on you. So
Right.
definitely it's a support, and I myself have been a content writer for many years.
Hmm.
So I think this is definitely something amazing. Writers typically don't leverage technology that easily,
Hmm.
but this is one place that I feel I strongly recommend that writers should try chatting with these tools so that they get different perspectives.
Talking about the perspective, you said like all the times your colleagues are not available or the human touch is not available. So can really chat these AI tools give you the right feedback, like the connection that we made? Like we as humans, we connect to stories, we connect to personalization, we
Hmm.
try to find relative content. But can these tools really give us that personalization touch and that feedback that really matters to a human?
Hmm. Hmm. So, in fact, there is an experiment that we did on this.
Okay.
There is a published article on
Hmm.
storyscientist.in,
Okay.
wherein there is a very simple and stupid prompt given saying
Hmm.
that, talk about this person,
Hmm.
right? She's a working mom and she wants to talk about blah, blah, blah. And then the result was very plain and simple. There's
Okay.
nothing touchy. It is like an
Hmm.
essay,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But when I started giving more details,
Hmm.
right, I tried this on Gemini,
Okay.
and I'll be happy to share that link. The entire experiment is documented.
Hmm.
So uh, Gemini gave me three different drafts, right?
Okay.
And you can try, and I have also pasted the prompt, exact
Hmm.
prompt that I have used. So you can go and try it by changing the input variables
Okay.
there, right? Instead of a working mom, you can change that into a busy engineering student and try it,
Okay.
right? So uh, the prompt is available there. The input variables is what you have to change. And the more detailed, specific to the point the input variables are, that kind of content comes out of it, right?
Hmm.
But if you say, write for me like J.K. Rowling or write for me like Oprah Winfrey, you will get a very bad output.
Very bad.
I don't recommend, trying to copy somebody else's voice
Hmm.
uh, to make yourself look like that. I think authenticity is one thing that cannot be uh, imitated on using any of these tools. That's something that comes from yourself.
Hmm.
But can you write something very close to what the person is thinking? Yes, that is possible. I would say
Okay.
we are 70% there. 30% it's still human
Okay.
touch required.
Okay. So like you have to tell, I can say too much things specifically to these
Yeah,
AI tools to let's
yeah,
say understand. So if
yeah.
ChatGPT have to understand me, Karan Goyal or Nischala, you have to tell them very specifically what and
Yes,
what not, right? Okay.
yes. True.
So
Yeah,
let's come to our engineering students and the community of development right now.
yeah.
Like how our students or any student who's in a college can
Hmm,
use these tools to
hmm.
tell an effective story so that they can grow their LinkedIn account. They have knowledge, like as the engineering students, we have knowledge, but we don't know how to portray that knowledge on a platform. How
Yes.
to do that? How these
Hmm,
AI tools can help us? What specifically or in a step-by-step manner we have
hmm,
to do or can
hmm.
do? What's your
Right.
opinion?
Yeah. So actually, I see a lot of students also using, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked this question because I think this is the first step to their career. If I'm not over exaggerating, when I had my first job, this was in
Yeah.
2006. Okay.
Okay.
I had my first job, and then I was just whiling away. There was a social media platform called Orkut back then.
Okay.
I don't even know if you guys have heard of
No.
it,
No.
right? So it is extinct. It was a social
Okay.
media platform that was created by Google, and
Okay.
it's not there anymore, right?
We know
Then
Google Plus.
exactly, right? That's probably the best you've known for back then. And my boss caught me
Okay.
chatting on Orkut, right?
Okay.
पीछे से आए और देखे and पूछ रहे थे कि what are you doing? So I said I'm just chatting with my friend on Orkut. He said, really, you're still on Orkut? I said, yeah. Why do you? What's wrong? You know, where
Hmm.
should you think I should be? He said, if you are serious about your career, you should be on LinkedIn,
Okay.
right? So if students are serious about their career,
Hmm.
and this was like,
Hmm.
I was 3 months out of college, just
Hmm.
graduated and my first job, right? So if somebody is serious about their career, they
Hmm.
should be exploring uh, on LinkedIn, and it's best you do it when you're a student because nobody's watching you, right?
Yeah.
आपका कुछ brand नहीं बना है
Hmm.
अभी तक, अब
Hmm.
बनाने की अभी रास्ता बाकी है, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to grow and thrive on LinkedIn, then you should start networking, right?
Okay.
I would say networking is first step and content is a second step because content is just a medium.
Hmm.
So if you want to showcase your authority, how much knowledge you have, what are you good at, then comes content. But that first human connection is where networking starts. And
Okay.
I think that's one piece many of us miss. We say
Hmm.
content banao, and then just start publishing it.
Hmm.
Won't work. It'll work for 1 week, 2 weeks. After that, it starts dropping drastically if
Okay.
nobody knows who you are on LinkedIn, right?
Hmm.
And somebody maybe your friend, let's say Ishan, is in touch with me. He follows me, okay? And then you are like, hey, yeah, this guy is following her. Let me go
Hmm.
see what she's doing. And
Yeah.
then there is another friend of yours who, again, let's say Saloni follows me. And they're like, okay, two people are following. Now this person, kuch to ho raha hai, right?
Yeah.
So and you are doing that because you know Ishan and Saloni,
Yeah.
right? And then when you follow me and you say, hey, Nischala, in fact, that's how we met, right? So
Hmm.
your LinkedIn networking skills are so good. I mean, that's how we met. We
Yeah.
met on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Then you see someone else who's connected to me. And then you see, hey, this person is very interesting. I want to go talk to them, right? So if you don't, I mean, content comes at a later stage, which is the
Hmm.
next medium of
Hmm.
really pushing yourself out there.
Yeah.
And first step is to talk to people
Talk to people. Yeah.
and don't hesitate because I've had a chance to meet really amazing CMOs
Hmm.
across the globe who I have never met, and they were willing to talk to me. So
Yeah.
there is no hesitation required to make that first step of saying, hey, I'm so and so. I'd like to learn about this from you, right? Worst case is they will not respond. That's all. But best case is you will stay in
They
touch
will.
with them,
Yeah.
right? And coming to your question about storytelling, right? So the second step, which becomes your content, is um, try to be authentic. Don't try and copy somebody. You can always like the way a person is writing or the type of content they are sharing, but they already have a tribe, right? All this works as a tribe. Now, even for instance, let's take any engineering student for that matter, within a class itself, they have their own tribes, छोटे
Right.
छोटे groups बन
Yeah.
चुके होंगे, right?
Everybody has
Based
a
on
group.
their
Yeah.
interests, yeah, and based on what they want to achieve in life, based on their emotional quotient, all those things, right? They already have those little tribes. And similarly on LinkedIn, people with a certain followership, they have their own tribe. If you try to break that, it'll look very ugly. Instead, start small, create your own tribe, even if it is small to begin with, and just keep posting out there. This morning, in fact, when I was on LinkedIn, I was reading a 19-year-old student from Nigeria who has been writing some amazing stuff, right? So I just started following him. So I think there's no age or not even any professional hierarchy barrier for this. If you really want to stay in touch with people, meet new people, if that's your interest, then definitely you should be out there on LinkedIn networking and creating content.
So can let I'm an engineering student and I want to start working on my content. I have a strong network. Like let's say I have a network of like 1K on LinkedIn. But now what I want, like I want more audience. I don't want now connections. Now I want more followers so that my LinkedIn profile grows. And I have knowledge, but I don't know how to use that knowledge to create a content. I can make another engineering student understand what I'm thinking, but I cannot make understand all my audience that is present on the LinkedIn. How in that particular scenario I can use these AI tools? Do we have to what do we have to specifically tell them, or what personalization we can give them?
Hmm. So I always say, there are certain inputs that is required. You can start with a very, very simple prompt, like read this and tell me what you understand. Give them an entire download. Give the AI writing tool an entire download of who you are, what do you do in your free time, uh, what is the kind of books that you read, what are the movies that you like, or what are the topics that you want to write about, who are the authors you follow, who are the other engineering models that you follow, uh, other thought leaders that you appreciate, right? What exactly? Give it all this information and just say, read it and tell me what you understand. It'll give you what it understands because that's a first foundational prompt that is setting context to it, right? And then you say, hey, and this is a very important thing. When you say I have 1K follow connections, and I next want to, start having followers, who should be your followers is a question that you need to answer, right? Typically, when you write a letter, किसी का एड्रेस होता है वहां पे, you address it to someone. Papa, mama, you write an email to your dean, to your friend. You're addressing it to someone, which means you have audience of someone.
Yeah,
Similarly, on LinkedIn, you need to understand who should be your followers. In that journey, do teen yahan wahan people extra also will join you.
yeah.
But who are the target audience, right? That's the first thing. Who's your target audience that you want to seek attention from? Right? So I'll put it in a very colloquial and funny way. Suppose you're trying to draw an attention of a girl, or a girl is trying to draw attention of a guy. What will you do? You'll try to figure out what they like. Where are they hanging around? What do they do? Right? You try to know everything about them, and then you start trying to impress them. This is exactly like that, right? It's professional dating. So if
Yeah.
you want a certain type of people, let's say you want all the recruiters to follow you, you will have to start creating content around that. You want all CTOs to follow you, chief technology officers. You have to create content around that, right? So ask the Gen AI tool saying that, hey, these are the people for whom I want to start writing, right? What
Hmm.
are the ideas? And I have a bunch of prompts on my website. May not This episode may not be enough, but you can just go copy paste it from there. Is I want to start targeting them for so that they pay attention on this. It'll give you a brief outline. It's not like you have to go copy that and paste it, but
Yeah.
you'll start getting ideas, right? Should I talk about the technology that was used in FIFA? Should I talk about the technology that was used in IPL? What were they doing to track, the bowling rate? What are the sensors that were used? Go on, go on, go on. I mean, it could be anything, right? Elections में कैसे analytics use किए, and
Hmm.
what are the other things? So you will have to give a context. Let's say somebody is from Rajasthan, okay,
Hmm.
or somebody is from Bihar, somebody is from Tamil Nadu. You will want to learn more about the local politics. let's
Yeah.
let's just say suppose, or you are interested in the policy making of that state, right? And then you want to tie it back to the Indian government. So you will have to put all that information and spit it out. Ki, this is my personality. Now you tell me, give me ideas so that I can start drawing the attention of XYZ, right? That could be recruiters, that could be anybody, that could be even marketers. I'm just using a lot of technological examples, but it could be anybody. It could be even, let's say, you like music bands, you want to draw the attention of music bands. Or it could be hospitals, you are creating an app for a hospital, right? So anybody, but you have to define that audience very specifically and
Hmm.
then ask for ideas. So it will stitch your personal life to what you're creating or to who you want to draw attention of, and then you can improvise further on those ideas, right? It's a very methodical process. I mean, again, you can go back to storyscientist.in and use all those prompts. They are freely available, but you can always, pick that process and just add, customize it to your own personal life and what you want to achieve,
Yeah.
plus the audience. So that's sort of the summary.
So another question from your answer only.
Okay.
Can these tools write on my behalf, or they can just help me? Like, okay, you can start writing on this content, or this is the best audience for you, so work on this particular thing. Or they can write on behalf of me. Like sometimes there are things like, even if when I use ChatGPT or Gemini, what
Hmm.
happen is I give them prompt again and again and again, and it is always giving me false answer,
Hmm.
always. And I am frustrated at the end of like 50 lines of things happened and
Yeah.
not a particular answer I got.
Yeah.
So can this particular thing write on my behalf so that I don't have to uh, invest too much time into it?
Okay. So there is one thing that I want to point out to. Again, why we are disappointed by Gen AI writing tools is we want them to become our writing assistants. Okay. But writing se pehle, there is one step that most people know,
Forgot.
but they forget, which is thinking,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Thinking to aapko hi karna hai. Like
Hmm.
what you think, the the way you think is very unique to you.
Hmm.
And based on that, you can create a set of prompts,
Okay.
right? So it's like this. Let's say, for instance, you're an intern, you join a new company, you have a boss. That person is giving you the same instruction over and over and over again without any additional inputs, without any additional context. What will you do? You will give the same output to him,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But instead, if he understands your strengths and where you're faltering, right, that person will be able to bring them together to support you to grow and nurture and give better outputs. Now, in a team of five, you will not have all of them doing this, working with the same capabilities, though they're
Hmm.
working in the same team,
Yeah.
right? So, you would want to give different prompts and you would want to experiment with those prompts. In fact, there are free guides that are on prompt engineering, right? For by Google, they're even by the OpenAI platform,
Hmm.
and there are multiple ways of prompting these tools. It could be a zero prompt, it could be a chain of thought prompt, right? It could be a first prompt. There are multiple ways of tweaking these AI tools to get your response. Okay, so in short, if I have to answer your original question, can these tools write on my behalf? Not completely, right?
Not
uh,
right now, but they will at some point. You think?
well, that we should leave it to the future, but at least now, with the current infrastructure and the AI tools that are available, can they write on your behalf magically? No, they can't.
Okay, so even if I give them a 1,000 line about me, who is Karan Goel, they'll still not able to figure out or think the way I think, right?
Yeah. So see, that why I brought up thinking and writing is because, see, the way LLMs work is they
Can
use
sorry to disturb, but
yeah.
can you explain LLM to audience?
LLM is large language models, right? Learning models. So the way they work is they put words front and back,
Okay.
multiple combinations, because it's an
Okay.
algorithm. They can do it at a very, very
Hmm.
fast rate.
Hmm.
So all they're doing is trying different word combinations within the given syntax and grammar that was already originally taught to them, and giving you an output. They're not
Okay.
thinking on your behalf. So
Okay.
do not expect Gen AI tools to think on your behalf. अरे मैं कह तो
Hmm.
रहा हूँ, इसको समझ में क्यों नहीं आ रहा? उसको समझ में
Yeah.
नहीं आएगा. Because all they are doing is they are juggling words, and they are creating newer combinations of words to understand if the person who's using it are they satisfied with it or not, right?
Okay.
So
So we have to understand that they are working on the content they have given, like from the
yes,
last multiple years, like multiple centuries. But they cannot think or make creative things. They
yes,
don't have that capability right now.
yes.
And we,
So for I'll give you an example. When you say
yeah.
creative,
Hmm.
uh, me being a mother of two daughters, I always uh, make connections between motherhood and marketing, right?
Okay.
I've written many pieces on this also publicly.
Hmm.
But what happens is, there is something called analogies,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So if you want to make creative connections, so this is just
Hmm.
one example. ऐसे बहुत सारे चीज है. So for instance, if you say, um, write a creative analogy between, um, let's say, recruitment, right? And recruitment, and maybe um, how uh, how an engine works,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
Two different, completely different
Completely
verticals,
different. Yeah.
and you ask it to make analogies
Hmm.
between the two,
Hmm.
okay? And you see what will come out of it. Now, even for creativity to happen intuitively, हम लोग creative कैसे बन रहे हैं? We are trying to connect dots, and when we are connecting dots,
Hmm.
there are multiple things happening, right?
Yeah.
Analogies is one of them.
Okay.
If you throw at any of these tools and say, hey, make a creative connection, or make an analogous connection between an engine and the recruitment process, you will get interesting answers, right?
Okay.
So or and so it again depends on what question you ask.
Hmm.
How are you
Hmm.
pushing that model to
Hmm.
think, because it can't think on your behalf. Only you have that knowledge in your head.
Okay. Still, we have to feed the knowledge to these tools. Like what
Yes.
on what to think, or
Yeah,
on what to experiment. This is the thing you
exactly.
have to experiment on.
Yeah.
We,
If you say you write a blog article for an engineering student on
hmm.
recruitment, मर्जी का output आएगा. There's no head or tail to it. It will give
Okay.
you a big theoretical essay on recruitment process. Yeah. So you will have to use those questions, like, give me a uh, analogous creative idea
Hmm. Hmm.
between something and something, X and Y. In fact, this is very close to, your mathematical
Yeah.
combinations.
Hmm.
So the more logic you bring, the more creative it gets. You have to give it, like, you have to put the food in its mouth.
Okay. Great. So let's now talk about the story scientist. Like what you do, like exactly. Okay, so you do this particular thing on content basis, and you use these AI tools. But what you provide as a story scientist, your company, what they are targeting? Are they targeting brands? They are targeting individuals? Are they targeting content creators to help them? Or like it's a creative agency based on the Gen AI? How, what? Tell me about that.
Yeah. So it's actually a research based agency, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Why we say research based agency is, it's not like we are providing performance marketing services.
Hmm.
It's not like we are providing meta ad services. It's not like that, right? We are trying to solve problems using our research. where we bring in technology and we are solving marketing problems using
Okay.
technology. And we run those experiments in such a way that it's repeatable, it's scalable for founders, for other agencies, right? In fact, Think Code OS is also used by agencies for training their content writers,
Okay.
right? Because they are very very driven by deadlines. They need to deliver a lot of content, and if you have taken up an SEO project, which is a search engine
Mm,
optimization project, then
mm,
you have to develop a lot of content. Now, how do you scale that content game without succumbing to plagiarism or imitation or unauthentic content? How do you do that? Think Code OS solves that even for agencies. So this particular experiment is solving a problem for founders, for independent content creators, right, who are solopreneurs typically, for agency owners, and also for students who want to sort of up their game if they are interested in writing and using Gen AI tools. There are three other experiments that are coming down the lane. So the other one is in the line of data storytelling. The
okay.
third one is in the line of thought leadership, and
Mm,
the fourth one is called the 100K content engine. uh, it's a $100K content engine, right?
okay.
So each one is an experiment in itself, and we are trying to make this repeatable, not something that's very exclusive that only
Mm,
few people can follow. So this is a research based agency that supports people with both learning courses as well as services.
okay. So you do all the hard work of making these tools do the work, and then you provide that services to the agencies or anybody who wants to use, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you are a marketer, and I want you to explain two terms that you mentioned. First, what is performance marketing? And the second thing, what is SEO?
Okay. So performance marketing, as the name itself says, performance is if you are investing money
Hmm.
um, and driving growth, right? That is, you are trying to grow in by pumping in money, right?
Okay.
So there are two things at stake: your money
Hmm.
and your growth.
Yeah.
The opposite of that is organic, wherein you let it take its own time,
Hmm.
but you have a certain strategic way of inviting people, creating interest, right? Word of mouth, it steps one after the other, and that's how it grows.
Yeah.
But performance is not like that. I want um, Y result, so I will invest X money,
Okay.
and that typically happens through ads.
Hmm. Okay.
Ads could be in multiple formats, right? It could be in the form of um, images, simple image ads, video ads, carousel ads. It could be in the form of text ads, and then multiple other formats coming up, like in-mail ads on LinkedIn, things like that. So all those lead to, let's say, I'm spending $1,000, I will get Y result. If I
Okay.
spend $2,000, I'll get two Y result,
Okay.
right? But if I keep, that means usse zyada kuch hone wala nahi hai. If you have that
Hmm.
much money, you will get that result. It
Okay.
could be in the form of leads, it could be in the form
Hmm.
of revenue, anything. But that's where performance marketing comes into play. You don't want $1,000 to give you Y result. You want $1,000 to give you 1.5 Y result or 2 Y result, right?
Okay.
And that's where you start tweaking. You do your A/B testing. All your different uh, tactics, that whatever you do through analytics, and you start testing those things, and hence grow your output based on the money that you spend, right? So it's really on how you optimize your ads, optimize your input to create a certain output.
Yeah. So I was
right?
reading this book about performance marketing. I don't remember the name right now, but I think the whole thing was about how you understand human psychology, how you better you understand human psychology, so you can
Yes.
create more relatable content. And at a certain point of time, when it comes to social media, it is more shareable also. So that's the, like, I think the core of performance marketing. Is it the core of performance marketing, like understanding how human brain works and how what will let them get into this particular ad or
So marketing itself is that, no,
yeah,
understanding the human
yeah,
psychology.
yeah.
So let it be performance marketing or organic marketing. In both scenarios, you have to understand. In fact, even what we do through Think Code OS, the
Hmm.
fundamental thing is we say you understand the emotion that you want to target.
Hmm.
What is a customer mindset that you are targeting? Are you targeting the fear? Are you targeting the pain? Are you targeting the challenge? Are you targeting their future aspirations? What are you targeting?
Okay.
Right? So marketing as a whole itself is a science about understanding customer mindset, right? But in performance, you're very, very driven by, what output you create.
Hmm.
It's a very linear formula, I would say, right?
Okay.
You have X, you will deliver Y. Now if I want to deliver 2Y, what do I do? So what you do between X and 2Y is performance marketing. Now, when you come
Hmm.
to SEO, which is nothing but search engine optimization, you have Google, you have Bing, you have these search engines. It's all about staying on top of these search engines, right? So, the entire art and science of being able to stay on top of these search engines, show up as your top ranks, is search engine optimization. You're optimizing your content, you're optimizing your website pages, your mobile pages, your product e-commerce product pages, everything, so that when a person searches, you show up. So
Okay.
that's as simple as search engine
Search engine
optimization.
optimization. Okay, so I think we have talked a lot about today things. Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us, Nischala, ma'am. We talked about from like chat GPT to the marketing. I don't know when I got into the marketing part because I really like it. Okay, so I'll mention your social media links in the description box. And if you guys have any other questions regarding the storytelling, LinkedIn, or anything, you can contact ma'am and she'll reply you. I hope so. Okay.
Yes,
So great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us, for giving us the
you're
time. It was really, really special for me, and I really got to know things that I did know, but I was not really sure about, and I didn't had have the perspective of a really marketing. A marketer who is in the market from last 15 or 16 years, I really didn't have the perspective of that. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Karan,
Yeah.
and I hope you guys are doing a great job,
Okay.
right? Being students, running a community like this called DevLearn, I think you guys are doing a great job. I can see myself 15
Yeah.
years back, 16 years back as a student, what I was doing back in college. This is not just something probably that you can
Hmm.
put on your resume,
Yeah.
but this will have a big mileage, a very long mileage for when it comes to students who are your juniors, who will come
Hmm.
up and learn out of this. So kudos to what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.